Greetings and bienvenue, everyone. I am your esteemed host, Wolfsaid64, and today in Elden Ring, I'm going to be going over a quick beginner guide for all new players, so let's get into it. First, you're going to want to start off by choosing one of your classes. Here we have the Vagabond, which I highly recommend because of its 15 vigor. Another one I highly recommend is the Astrologer class or the Prophet class. These are more ranged-based kinds of builds, so they'll be better at peppering people from afar with spells. Body type A is for dudes and body type B is for dudettes, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to pick one person. You can name yourself pretty much anything, even after someone you hate, like Tom Selleck. I also highly recommend grabbing the Golden Seed. This is a intro item that you can start off with, and it increases the amount of times you can heal yourself before you are completely out and you run out of HP. Once you're completely done, you will spawn into this first little area, the Church of Anticipation. Here you'll see the Ring of Mikola gesture, but for the Vagabond, oddly enough, From Software fucking weighed them down and didn't give them enough stamina to wield all the items correctly without fat rolling, which is what I'm doing right here. So I highly recommend taking the Iron Sword off and using the halberd with the helmet removed. I'm going to be fast forwarding a lot through these just to get through everything in a quick and timely fashion, so let's do that. To quickly clarify, the Vigor stat is what is tied to your HP, the red bar. The Stamina is the green bar, which is your Endurance, and Mind is linked to your FP, which is the blue one. So coming up through here, we're going to want to hug that side of the area because there is a boss in front of the church that you are never ready for, no matter how hard you fucking try to want to be. Then you'll come to the Groveside Cave, which is a very simple area. You just come here, run to the right, and ignore everything. Once you're at this fog wall, please do enter it and have fun beating this boss. He's not overly challenging, but it's a good beginner boss, unlike the tutorial that you spawn into. This is the Beastman of Farum Azula. He is a recurring enemy that will show up later in the game, but for the purposes of this area, he is apparently a boss. After that roar, almost all the time he will initiate a 6-swing combo that is sure to sweep across your area, but for him, for this run, he oddly enough just went for that thrust attack earlier. Don't worry if you don't beat this boss immediately. It's not anything against you. It's just you don't know how to play the game, so it's obviously going to be difficult for you. That's the point. Once you're done with that, you're going to get the Flame Drake Talisman, which reduces all incoming fire damage that you take by, I want to say, 15%, which is not a bad idea for the beginning stages of the game. And here we go with another fast forward. Once you come out of the cave, immediately head left, and you'll find yourself at the Gatefront Runes, and the Gatefront Runes Site of Grace. I'm fast forwarding through the little cutscene here. Talk to this lady in full if you wish. You will get the Spectral Steed Whistle, which is how you mobilize yourself on horseback. Also in this area is the map fragment for the small area of the game that it covers, as well as a Ash of War and a Whetstone that allows you to apply Ashes of War to your weapons, such as the halberd that I have. The Whetstone also allows you to change the affinity from fire to ice to lightning and so on. So once you're done with all of that, you go to this grace, and then you'll want to come down here to the bottom of the lake here, and we're going to pop in right about here for one of the better weapons for the beginners in the game. Dare I say it's one of the best. It is known as the Reduvia Dagger. It takes 5 strength, 13 dexterity, and 13 arcane to use correctly. It's dropped after defeating the Bloody Finger Invader Nereus here. I know it's a very weird name to see. I do believe it's Yiddish or something. I can't remember the nationality of it, but it is pronounced Nereus, not Nerejuice or whatever, or however you think it's pronounced. Here I was a fool and thought I could parry his ass, because ordinarily I can, but I'm not used to the parry of the big swinging shields here. Along with this boss, or not boss fight, NPC invasion fight, There is a NPC helper named Yura. He is almost practically useless in this fight because he'll just stand around swatting away at Nereus like he's a fly. The sad part is, as soon as Nereus shows up in your world, Yura takes an entire 17 seconds to join in, so the pressure is kind of on when you first get here. But he's not overly difficult to kill if you know how to pressure him correctly like I did. And then once you have completed killing him, you will get the Reduvia dagger. Here you can see the lore of it and the 5, 13, and 13 that it takes to wield it correctly. I'm only missing 13 arcane. So after that, I'm going to take a quick little jaunt over to this area called the Murkwater Cave, and I'm going to rest here. It's a good idea to rest at any sites of grace that you can find because it will help refill all your HP, alleviate any like frost buildup or bleed buildup on your character. But keep in mind it also does reset the area. Now, I made a mistake in thinking that this was the only way back up into the area where we're going to go get the weapon of all time that I love to use, like, absolutely. And both of these weapons are great, but dare I say that this specific one will carry you to the end game and even beyond. Hell, in my stream, I killed one of my most favorite DLC bosses with it, with minor effort, actually. So once you get up to here, you'll arrive at the Forlorn Hound Everjail. So there is an NPC that you can summon, but that requires a quest line that I'm not going to get into. I can make another video separately for this one, and this is another fast forward section. This is Dariwil, the Forlorn Hound, I do believe. He is a bloodhound hunter who wields the weapons that you see here, and when you kill him, you get his sword. And again, dare I say, it is the best sword in the game. You didn't see that. Thankfully, there's a Stake of America here, which is kind of an intermediate between the Sites of Grace, which act as checkpoints, and the Stake of America is kind of like, again, another mediator between that and having to run all the way back from the last Site of Grace you were at to the boss. He's very difficult to knock out of his animations, which you can do with strong weapons or certain status afflictions. And plus his acrobatic moveset makes him very hard to pin down and really hard to hit, because he'll just close the distance very quickly or create distance just as quickly. His version of this weapon is extremely powerful, as is all boss-based weapons in Elden Ring. But dare I say, the one we get is almost as powerful. I do have to mention that the sword that he's using and the Reduvia dagger are both labeled as somber weapons or unique weapons. So they require an item called somber smithing stones to upgrade correctly. You need only one of each type of stone all the way up to plus 10 to fully upgrade them to their maximum damage. It's not that difficult to find somber smithing stones. However, I do need to mention that the plus 10 versions of them are very scarce, so you will need to roll into a new game save to get them. And by new game, I mean go through the game entirely, beat every boss, and then it will give you the option to start the story again. Once you start the game again, you will still continue to have all the items you have accumulated from the last version of the game. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Bloodhound's Fang, arguably one of the best strength dex weapons ever. It is very flexible with elemental damage that you can apply to it and status build-up. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments. I can show the whole video of this front to back unedited if that makes it any better for you guys. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Peace the fuck out.